Today's build features an excellent CPU and graphics card combo. Underneath this Thermalright Assassin 120X ARGB CPU cooler, we have a AMD Ryzen 5 5600X CPU with 6 cores and 12 threads. Below that, we have the EVGA XC version of the GeForce RTX 3060 graphics card with 12GB of GDDR6 memory. As we see here on the Tech Power Up website, we have a slight boost in clock speeds, as well as a boost in theoretical performance that is particular to this EVGA version of the card. I personally really miss EVGA making graphics cards. For the motherboard, we have an MSI Meg B550 Tomahawk that features lots of expansion and a neat little ARGB light show underneath that little heatsink. And those pulsating lights are currently synced up with the CPU cooler. Underneath the NVMe heatsink, we have a 1TB Team Group T-Create NVMe solid-state drive with Windows 11 Pro installed. Beneath this power supply shroud, I also have a Samsung 640GB hard drive installed. And this motherboard has an extra NVMe slot, and you can just see the 3 available PCIe lanes for some extra expansion on this longer style motherboard. There's 16GB of silicon power DDR4 3200MHz RAM. Powering it all, we have an EVGA 650W power supply. And this is a Gamdias Apollo E2 PC case with 2x 200mm air intake fans and one 120mm air exhaust fan. This PC case is really great bang for the buck. It offers a lot of passive cooling right over here by the graphics card, and also up here where you can also install additional fans or radiators depending on your setup. On the top I/O of the PC case, we have USB 3.0, USB 2.0, microphone and headphone input. This button right here that is labeled LED controls the 2 air intake fans. And of course there's the power button and the reset button. If you have the proper cable connections, you can sync up the PC case fans and the CPU cooler fan for some customization. Onto the rear I/O of the motherboard, we have a BIOS flashback button, a mouse and keyboard PS2 port, 2x USB 2.0, HDMI and DisplayPort if your CPU supports integrated graphics, 3x USB 3.2, USB Type-C, a 2.5G RJ45 Ethernet port, and a 1G port for additional networking options, which is actually really cool. And down here we have the audio in and out, as well as a SPD-IF port. On the graphics card, we have 1x HDMI 2.1 and 3x DisplayPort 1.4a. I really like how this build turned out. I find the performance to be a great match with the CPU and graphics card, and it doesn't break the bank in terms of price. So with that in mind, let's check out the gaming and benchmark performance.